Rearview.
The stranger in the back seat. The highway stretched endlessly before me, a ribbon of asphalt swallowed by the night. Fog clung to the road, illuminated by the faint glow of my headlights. The hum of the tires was the only sound, a steady rhythm that usually calmed me. But tonight, something felt off. I glanced at the rearview mirror, as I often did when driving alone at night. The backseat was empty, just as it should be. I told myself I was being paranoid, that the long day was playing tricks on my mind. But when I looked again, my breath caught in my throat. There was someone in the back seat. A man with hollow eyes stared back at me, his face pale and expressionless. I whipped my head around, my heart pounding, but the seat was empty. When I looked back at the mirror, he was still there, unmoving, watching me. I pulled over, my hands trembling on the wheel. The car skidded to a stop, and I turned around again, half expecting to see him sitting there. But the backseat was empty. I told myself it was just my imagination, that I was tired, that I needed to get home. I started driving again, my eyes darting to the mirror every few seconds. At first, he was gone. But then, slowly, he reappeared. Closer this time. His face filled the mirror, those hollow eyes boring into mine. I tried to stay calm, to focus on the road, but the radio began to crackle. The song I'd been listening to distorted, slowing down into something unrecognizable. I turned it off, but the silence was worse. I glanced at the mirror again. He was even closer now, his face inches from mine in the reflection. I could almost feel his breath on the back of my neck. I swerved, nearly losing control of the car, and pulled over again. This time, I grabbed my phone, but there was no signal. The radio turned on by itself, playing that same distorted song. I turned it off, but the silence was deafening. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned around, ready to confront him, but the backseat was empty. I exhaled, relieved, but then I felt it, a cold presence beside me. He was in the passenger seat now, reaching for me. I screamed, swerving violently, and the car skidded to a stop. When I looked again, he was gone. I drove the rest of the way home in silence, my hands gripping the wheel so tightly my knuckles turned white. When I finally pulled into my driveway, I sat there for a moment, trying to calm my racing heart. I stepped out of the car, but something caught my eye in the back seat. I leaned in and froze. There, on the seat, was a pair of handcuffs and a bloody knife. I looked up at the rearview mirror. He was still there, staring at me with that same cold smile. And then he spoke, his voice a distorted whisper.
Please like, share, and subscribe.